dive into all of that, I got to ask you guys, how are you guys doing this evening?
Bumming it.
I feel great, man. I actually jumped on the Stairmaster today for like 30 minutes and I'm a little tired, but I do feel better about where I'm at now. I had a lot of tortillas yesterday. We'll get into that later. But,
Oh, nice.
just one of those wife's out of town. So DoorDash has been my best friend.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
experienced
mean,
the same thing this weekend.
well, yeah. I mean, if you're in a situation where you're just eating for one, I mean, yeah, it's only responsible that you just eat out, of course, of course.
Then you feel
Um,
terrible come Monday, but you know what? That's a Monday issue.
yeah, we're not worrying about that today. That's all the fun. But at the same time, what's also fun is the Spurs not losing
Uh-oh.
in the preseason.
Uh-oh.
This is the first time this has happened since the 97-98 season, aka Tim Duncan's rookie year. And that year we won 56 games. I'm not saying this is going to be a year that rivals that, but when we're looking towards the regular season, do you think there's a chance that we could do anything near that?
Define near.
I mean, what do you look at this team if we overachieve a little bit?
I think if you overachieve, you get right at 50. That's overachieving with pretty perfect health, I think.
50 games is overachieving.
I think so.
I think that's a good number. If we hit 50 games, that'd be wild. That means a
I
lot
think
of
that would
things
be
went right
pretty
for us. Some people went
wildly
down in other
overachieving,
teams.
actually.
But what'd you say, James? I can't hear you.
I think that'd be pretty wildly overachieving, actually.
Yeah, for sure. But I think we all kind of have them in that 42 to 48 range, probably give or take on how we're looking. But I think 50 games is a stretch. Now, if you come to me in late March and we're the fifth or fourth seed and we're heading in that trajectory, it wouldn't really surprise me. I mean, it would to an extent, but it wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is insane. Because, like I said in the podcast we did, Rob, I do feel that we have a team that could shock some people and we can get some easy wins that maybe weren't expected to win. So, we have a lot of young players. We have a lot of rotations we can throw out at people. And if we need to rest some people from what it looks like, we have guys that can step up and do the damn thing. So I'm not, 50 wins would be crazy. But it wouldn't shock me at the end of the day.
I think they should, if you look at it on paper, and you never want to react to the preseason in one way or the other, be it good or bad. And so kind of got to couch that a little bit. But if you look on paper, their first 10, 12 games, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're, you know, 9-3, something along those lines to get out the gate. And I think the best we could hope for as fans is that they do something like that and it boosts their confidence and they start to believe in themselves individually and as a unit.
Right. And sometimes as a team, all you need is that belief, especially when you have multiple guys stepping up. And that's what we've been seeing in this preseason so far. We have 6 guys scoring 12 or more points per game, and a lot of them are doing it with high efficiency outside of Devin Vassell, which has been one of my key gripes so far looking at this preseason. And we're seeing him play the most minutes per game, a little over 24, scoring 12 points per game, only 18.8% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. That seems to be a volume that should be reasonably in his sweet spot. And you would expect him to be able to handle that kind of load and be all right with it. So I'm kind of questioning whether or not he's going to truly fit into this team long term. Just based on how he's just kind of getting his foundation going into the year.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll find some of what Julian Champagny has going on in the preseason.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. The fact that we're sitting here right before the season starts going, I think Julian Champagny is more valuable than Devin Vassell right now. I mean, like that's kind of crazy to think about because when Julian Champagny is one of those guys that I would kind of lump in with your Gary Neals, your Bren Forbes, your Jonathan Simmons type players who, they come in, do a great job with the Spurs, they get a huge contract outside the Spurs, and we just never hear from them again. So like I feel Champagny, I think he can be a really big part of this team, and if he's hitting 50% from three, I mean, shit, like throw him the
Well, if
ball every
anybody's
time.
doing that.
Oh, well, I mean, right now he over the 5 games, he's shooting 63% on 6 attempts.
Insane.
On six
Insane.
attempts.
Well, and
That's high volume and crazy, almost unachievable efficiency. And if we can get a little snapshot of that going into the next season, yeah, I mean, he's going to carve out a huge role, especially because, I mean, you were talking about Gary Neal and Bryn Forbes and guys like that, but damn, he's 6'8".
Yeah.
And he's shooting at that kind of clip.
6'10" with his hair.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you all mentioned some of those names because if you look at Julian Champagny's kind of advanced statistical profile, it actually is somewhat reminiscent of Danny Green.
Right.
It's actually a little bit higher, but the same kind of trajectory. And so I think that's kind of the role you're looking at. And for the team as a whole, the preseason and these winnable games at the early part of the season, I think it's important for them to finally see proof of concept, right? We've been kind of throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks for the past couple of years. And now I think we're finally able to turn that corner, and just getting wins under their belt is going to help a lot.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And, much like a good shooter, you just need to see the ball go through the net in order to get that confidence. And I think the same is going to be true with our main unit. It's like,
yeah,
I can see this core group of guys getting a lot of wins, but not necessarily this season. I don't know if we're going to be a 50-win team this year. Maybe not
I wouldn't
even
bet on it.
Right. Maybe not even next year. But you know what? This collection of guys will be capable of winning 60 games a year at some point throughout their duration.
I would say, I think this season sets the foundation for a playoff run here in the next year or two. You look at the contracts that we have expiring at the end of the season. I think that opens up a lot of things for the team next year. I mean, just off the top of my head, Sohan, Harrison Barnes, Biombo, those guys are on 2 year contracts. They're probably not going to be here next year. I mean, it'd be cool if Harrison Barnes just takes a vet min and calls it a day and retires a Spur. That'd be cool, but I'm not going to bank on it. So I think right now is just we got to make sure that we just set the foundation for guys who can play with Wemby. And if you can't, you're out. And
can I play devil's advocate to that point?
No.
I kind of expected that, but I don't want to say we, because I don't want to attribute to anybody, one specific person, but a lot of Spurs fans have been saying that foundational year piece for the past couple of years. They've been saying like this year lays the foundation, and in the offseason, we're really going to start building it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, we thought last year was going to be it, but I mean, the last season was a shit show from the beginning. Like it started great. We're like, all right, here we go. And then Pop goes down. Mitch Johnson doesn't really know where the bathroom is quite yet. Wemby goes down. Fox trade. I mean, all these things kind of like, I'm not trying to make excuses. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
But now we actually have something. We've seen it in the preseason. Looks like these boys want to play ball. And I think for an NBA team, I think that's huge because you have finally a team that wants to play ball. Whereas like I see other teams that are just kind of out there going through the motions. It looks like our guys want to play, which I kind of want to say my bold prediction just for game one is I think we blow out the Mavs. I think we go into Dallas and we beat them by 15, 20 points. And that kind of catapults us to a really solid start to the season. I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. You can ask my wife. I'm wrong quite a bit. But I would say the way that these boys are playing right now, I don't think people are going to be quite ready for that intensity come game one.
I hope
I
you're right.
think what we're going to see is the Dallas Mavericks are going to start Cooper Flag against us. Stephon Castle is going to put the clamps on Cooper Flag and going to make it really hard for him to get the ball up the court. I don't know if Cooper will continue to be the main ball handler throughout the game, but if Steph is able to guard him in open space, I think he's going to have a tough time. And so I wouldn't surprise if we got the win against the Mavericks. I think that we're a pretty evenly matched team, especially when they don't have Kyrie. I favor us a little bit more, but at the same time, yeah, I think it's going to be a really close game. I don't see why the Spurs don't get that W.
We're 2.5 point dogs right now, and to y'all's point, I don't think the Mavs will be any worse at any point of the season. This is kind of their nadir is going to be at the beginning when they're figuring things out, getting healthy. They're probably going to be a back half of the season team. So if you can get these wins now, get them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we have a really good chance to get the season started on the right foot. And that could just be the foundation to seeing the Spurs playing playoff basketball sooner rather than later. But
I,
yeah,
I,
there's
I
a lot
also
of teams in our way.
I also
I'm so
don't see
thankful they're back.
I don't see Anthony Davis making it past the third quarter, to be honest with you. I feel like he's going to go out at some point and we're going to just go away from there. I just think the way that Wimby looks right now, he looks hungry, he looks motivated, he looks like he's heard all the chatter and he's ready to prove something, and that's a dangerous combination, man. That is a dangerous combination.
I'm just happy there's something that's going to be on TV. They have 5 games between Wednesday and then the end of October. Oh, guys, we made it.
Right. It is.
We don't have to wait every week for something. We get something every couple of days. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. Spurs basketball is at the tip of our fingers. We can just reach out and grab it at this point, and there's so much to be excited about. And you look at Wemby's per 36 numbers, and you can only hope that he's going to have a monster season, because I really truly feel as if he's going to be that 30-point a game guy sooner rather than later. Why not have it be this season? He's going to be in MVP conversations, and ESPN just predicted him as the defensive player of the year.
He
Yeah.
should have won it last year.
Yeah, the only thing that's stopping him from winning that is the games limit.
I think that's ridiculous. So here's how you fix that scenario. If you lead a defensive statistic, like let's say blocks, and you miss a lot of the season, and you still lead in blocks by the end of the season, and no one's even close to you, you should probably be considered. Like that should be like kind of the caveat of not playing all the games, because I think it's utterly ridiculous that he didn't win it. Obviously, there's a game, minimum now, but he still outperformed all the defensive players in the time that he was playing. Like it wasn't even close.
They named that after Hakeem, right? That trophy's named after Hakeem.
Yeah.
It's too bad it's already claimed, because I feel like they might as well just start naming it after Wimby. If he gets one, he probably will get several thereafter.
Speaking of Hakeem, man, Wimby's footwork, holy shit! Like
Yeah,
that step through he had against the Pacers from the baseline from like 18 out, like that's, you can't defend that. Like the problem is you can't defend that. You can't send help, because then that leaves one of our shooters, probably Julian Champagny, open. And by the time that he makes that move, if you do try to send someone over, that's a little dump pass and someone gets an easy layup. So like, good luck, NBA.
Right.
I just hope he
you're
can continue to get stronger with the ball, right? And less turnovers. Ideally, I think that was the only thing about the preseason that you're just kind of like, if I'm nitpicking, can you cut down on that?
Right. Whenever Wemby is the offensive engine, it is going to create a situation where he's going to be high turnovers. And we saw him at about 4.6 a game. That is high. But Wemby, he is the guy generating offense. So I know he's going to turn the ball over some. I'd want to limit it to about maybe 3.5 a game. So just cut down on maybe 1.5, 2 turnovers, and then I'm cool with it.
And some of it's not as much about the volume as it is about the timing or the the opportunity that the turnovers create. Some like not all turnovers are created equal. So, this is just kind of something, like I said, I'm nitpicking, but something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Of course. Because Wemby had an amazing preseason. So we gotta so I'm really, really feeling strongly about it right now. Whenever I'm looking at it through that lens, there's a few other things that I'm pretty excited about as well. And one of those is Luke Cornett.
The French Connection. Your
French
boy's becoming
vanilla.
popular on Spurs TikTok.
The French Connection, aka French Vanilla, aka Luke, I am your father.
Dude, I'm to the moon about where we're at right now. And I do think it's interesting that we didn't sign Jeremy Sohan to a new contract or an extension. He'll be a restricted free agent by the end of the season. So that tells me either shit or get off the pot for Jeremy Sohan.
Are you saying that because Adam just entered the chat?
He reminded me of it. I was like, douchebags. I need to talk about Jeremy Sohan. Good call. Just kidding.
No, I think the Spurs aren't terribly worried. It's a pretty low risk situation because of the way restricted free agency is in the league, and so long as he's able to stay healthy, I think they're not too worried about another team coming in and giving him some sort of godfather offer. It is, it is Jeremy Sohan, and I think he's important to this team, but it is also, on the other hand, it's Jeremy Sohan. So I'm not expecting some team to come in and give him $30 million a year or anything like that.
Well, not after
Spurs wouldn't be willing to match.
Dyson Daniels got 100 mil 4 years. So like he has a defensive MVP next to his name. Jeremy Sohan's not going to get that kind of money. There's no way.
You look at more Jabari Smith kind of numbers. 5 years, 110 million, so roughly about 22 million a year. It sounds high, but in today's NBA, that's just kind of the going rate for Jeremy Sohan's.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be something similar to that, but you're not going to get him less than like 18, 19 mil a season. I think that would be a pretty decent contract, but he'll probably get something north of 20. But I am questioning his health and his ability to perform consistently. I know that his effective field goal percentage went up last year, and it was his most efficient around the basket within 3-4 feet from the rim. So I like to see him getting more efficient, but he's still not improving enough as a shooter to space the floor around Wemby, because if you're playing him on the floor with Wemby, they have two clear defined positions where, Wemby can kind of just float in around the paint. He can float in and, outside on the 3-point line, free throw line extended. And Sohan is a little bit more limited when he just has to crash, short corner, and you're really relying on him going to the basket. Whereas I'm wanting somebody that can also spot up, hit an open shot when Wemby is getting collapsed on.
I think the real problem, because you touched on it, and there is some issues there, but you can run an offense with Sohan and Wemby on the floor together. But I think for me, the problematic pairing is him and Steph Castle, because Wemby will shoot 35, 37% from three. He's going to be a lower volume, higher percentage shooter, I think, this year. But I don't know if there's enough difference in the skill sets between Sohan and Castle to overcome the lack of shooting that either of them present. So unless one of them takes a huge step forward, unless those Sohan workout videos from the summer are real, then those two, I think, are a conundrum that you have to face.
Well, I see Steph Castle shooting almost 38% from three in the preseason on 4 attempts per game. And I like the fact that I'm already kind of seeing the shooting mechanics there. And it's not a clunky release. Sure, does it need improvement, but not as much as Sohan. So I think I could see Steph Castle working it out quicker than Jeremy.
And
Yeah, and
so
it was with Steph Castle, that's where you want to be, right? Because you want to have him slash to the basket and getting those highlight dunks. So if you stay at that 38%, 35, 38%, that keeps the defense at least honest enough to them having to come out and you just get that one step and you're having a highlight.
and that's what we're looking for either of them. We're looking for, you don't have to be a knockdown shooter. You don't even really have to be league average. You just have to be to the point where you can hit 2 or 3 in a row and really ruin someone's night.
I don't think Jeremy
Absolutely.
Sohan can do that.
I've seen him do it.
I've seen him do it. He just doesn't do it consistently. Not when you're shooting as below league average as he is,
And
and
I've
has
seen
been.
the year-to-year increase too. He's shot 30.8 exactly the past 2 years, but he jumped from 24 to 30 in a year. So the
I mean,
ability
he
is
was
there.
also being left. The closest defender was 30 feet away too. So I mean, like, I hope his percentage would go up from that. I just don't see him making those threes when he's being closed out or anything like that. I think the Jeremy Sohan experiment was fun, and we got what we could out of him. But for being that high of a draft pick, he just hasn't shown his true value. And maybe it's one of those things. It could be one of those things where perhaps, like, same thing with Keldon Johnson, we're now seeing, like, oh, now that we have players, everyone kind of fits into that mold a little better. Maybe that's what we need for Jeremy Sohan. Maybe we just need to see him with other people, more veterans, and maybe he plays a lot better because he has a much smaller role. But at the end of the day, like, he's underperformed since we drafted him, plain and simple.
I think you're muted, James, because I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
Nope.
But yeah, I don't think it's a Sohan problem completely, because I think that a lot of it was what we were asking him to do and kind of the opportunity he was kind of forced into. But I also think I need to see him become a better shooter in order to justify playing him next to Wemby as much as we are and have been.
Yeah, and like I said, maybe it's one, like, I mean, look at Kendall Johnson right now. He looks great in the role that he's in, like being that man off the bench, like seventh, eighth man, coming in, being explosive, knowing his role, doing his job, and then playing in certain amount of minutes. I think he's doing a great job personally, and if maybe Jeremy Sohan just needs that kind of role on our team where he just comes in 15, 18 minutes a night, grabs a handful of rebounds, has 2 points on a putback. And that's what we ask him to do. Because I saw a video of him shooting with two hands on free throws again. And I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah. Shout out to Round Ball. And also, yeah, like I gotta also shout out this comment to Luke Cornett, Celtics legend. Dude, I just love how he's fitting in with San Antonio.
God,
Such a high IQ guy. And I really don't like that y'all. We took an absolute legend from y'all, but at the same time,
we
I feel as
stole a
if
legend, dog. We stole him because that contract is it's I think we underpaid him, dog. I think we should have paid him a lot more money personally.
absolutely. Yeah, I think I would have easily been cool with paying him 15 mil a season, but getting him at 11, uh, I'm very, very cool with that contract because he's a consistent backup big that can play next to Wemby. When they were doing inverted pick and roll, it was crazy. Like I really believe in not only his offensive connectivity with everyone, but also his defensive reliability without Wemby on the floor. It's just that there's a lot to like there.
And
Um,
then and I mean, Harrison Barnes looks great. I mean, he's going to be consistent. I think our starting lineup is great the way it is. Dylan Harper. I mean, dude, this team should. There's no excuses this year, regardless of what happens. If we get an injury or whatever, I don't think there's any excuses this year for the Spurs not to make the playoffs. Like I think you have to make the playoffs this year. Otherwise, you might need to just blow up the whole thing. Like I that's kind of how I feel right now. And we do have a lot of expiring contracts, like I said earlier. So I am curious to see kind of where this thing ends up and where we're going, because also we're going to have to pay Wemby too. And that's going to be a huge factor in some of the people that we may sign or extend or not extend. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. But regardless, I'm fucking excited, dog. I am so excited. And we get basketball tomorrow. The Thunder are going to get their gaudy ass rings. Dude, what happened to the good old days of just a nice ring? Now they got to open up and they have a Bluetooth speaker in them and all kinds of shit. Like, let's just get back to simple rings. Have a bunch of diamonds on them, great. But now, like, they're just ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised they have like a little drop of like oil in there, because that's what Oklahoma is, nothing but oil and gas. So, I mean, shit, they might have some turquoise in it because of the casinos that are up there. I mean, the people, but we'll see kind of what happens tomorrow. But the NBA is here. Are there any other teams outside of the Spurs that you're excited to watch, Rob?
I mean, there's a lot of teams, especially when we're talking about Western Conference teams. And we were talking a little bit about the Rockets before the podcast started, and they're one of the teams I'm very interested to see how this team kind of molds together, because I was combing the ESPN rankings that just released yesterday, and they had them at 5. And I think that this
like
team
5 out of the whole NBA.
Out of the whole NBA, they have the Rockets 5th, and I feel
that's the KD, man. That's the KD effect.
It is, and I think that's a lot of what you can expect, but I also feel as if I don't know who is going to be handling the ball for these Rockets and distributing for this offense.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, especially from a Rockets team that was very underwhelming last outing in the playoffs. So I feel like this is one of the more interesting teams, and them being in our conference, in our division, I think it's certainly a team that we're going to have to keep our eye on, especially when I'm seeing a lineup with Amon Thompson at the starting point guard. That is a massive lineup with your smallest guy at 6'7".
Yeah. We have a guy that's 7'7". So, he also abuses their big man Sagoon. So I ain't worried about it. But I think 5 I would say 5 to 10 is probably more where they stand. 5's a little up there in my opinion. But a team that I am super excited to see, like it's my second favorite team, is the Denver Nuggets, dude. Like they literally looked at their weaknesses from that game 7 against Oklahoma and fixed it. Like they were like, we're not going to have this again. Went and got Cam Johnson. Yeah. Went and got Cam Johnson, got rid of Michael Porter Jr., who now come to find out, huge douchebag, big prick. And now you're going, wow, you got rid of the issue in the locker room. You don't have to rely on Michael Porter Jr., whether if he has a good game or a bad game, on whether you win or lose. Jamal Murray looks like he dropped some weight. He looks a lot more fluid and quicker. And then obviously you have Jokic, who is just probably one of the best big men we've ever seen play basketball. So you couple that all together, and Mike Malone's a great coach, and I think
Mike Malone's not there anymore.
Oh no, you're right. He got fired. Shit.
Yeah,
who's the coach?
Adelman. It's
Adelman. That's who it is. Yeah. The homeboy's son,
David Adelman.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. But I do think that I wouldn't surprise me if you see the Nuggets in either the Western Conference Finals or the Finals at the end of the season, because they're that good. And DeAndre Jordan cut his dreadlocks.
Well, I mean, I don't know if DeAndre is still there anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know who's on the teams anymore. I don't.
Well, what I was about to say is they brought in Jonas Valanciunas to replace that DeAndre Jordan kind of role.
And they extended Brown too. Christian Brown got a fat contract as well. So I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets, and once I get all their players down, I'll tell you more about it. But I think literally what they, especially because I got family in Colorado and they follow the Nuggets, and they're like, hey buddy, the holes that we had against the Thunder aren't going to be holes next year, because I think a guy like Cam is going to be. I mean, he's so much better than Michael Porter Jr. Man, he's so much better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's a better shooter. He's more consistent. He's a better passer, more like a better connective piece. Like you pass Cam Johnson the ball, he's going to swing his head and look for the next pass, when Michael Porter Jr. would catch the ball and then immediately shoot it within 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And so those guys are night and day difference, especially when you connect them with a guy like Jokic, who, if you are making smart choices and you're looking for the next guy, Jokic will know that and know how to connect you with the rest of the offense. So I think that will compound itself, along with the fact that they brought back Bruce Brown, a really good, strong piece for their 2023 championship roster. Yeah, he was averaging about 10 points a game and was playing over 20 minutes
defender
a game.
too.
Yes, and a good versatile defender that can guard, he can guard your twos, can guard your threes. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is the real questions that need to be asked. But how many hoes can he pull? MPJ got in there. Absolutely. Yeah. If we're talking about baddies, then MPJ got it.
If we're talking about potentially international sex trafficking, yeah. MPJ got that.
Yeah. We're talking about how many dumbass things have been said on a random bro podcast. Yeah, MPJ is putting up numbers right now.
I think I'm also really curious to see how the Clippers respond with all this offseason stuff going on. There's another thing that came out today. I mean, I feel like this is just a can of worms at this point, and you can't put it all back. And I think Pablo Torre really exposed some things here. And whenever when Mark Cuban was on the podcast, Pablo Torre had a very, it wasn't really a gotcha interview, but it was very much like, okay, Mark, if that's how you feel. It was kind of one of those interviews. So pretty interesting.
Absolutely. And I got to shout out Roundball. Something to also keep you connected is our friends over at Solar Scouts. I'm going to use this as a seamless transition into a beautiful plug for our wonderful sponsor and our wonderful people over at the Solar Scouts, who are providing
the best sponsor.
Yes, the best sponsor, one of the greatest sponsors we've ever seen in the history of sponsorship. But all jokes aside, absolutely wonderful people, great product, and I love environmentally friendly products, and this is absolutely one of them. You put your solar panels up there, you're absorbing all of the sun, all of that good stuff, and then there you go. You're using it to power your house. Get yourself a clean, reliable backup for you and your family. Contact the Solar Scouts. Go right to this link right here. If Riverside will actually let me, it will
we'll put it in the notes on this one whenever we get done.
I'm sorry, okay, there we go. Riverside has been struggling really hard today. The solarscouts.com/bums.
AWS outages, that could be it.
Maybe. I'm surprised they're allowing this podcast to happen right now.
Speaking of outages for Solar Scouts right here, just a heads up, if they're going to be building a bunch of these data centers and they're going to be upping electricity, solar is a really good way to avoid that. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, dang. I'm getting a shout out to James from Beyond the Podcast grave. That's an amazing Trump. I mean, like one of the best, truly. But yeah, that's certainly a great segue into one of my favorite sponsorship moments. But is there any other preseason stuff that you're wanting to dive into, Spurs related or not Spurs related?
Not really. I mean, the big thing for me for the Spurs right now, I think, like I said earlier, I think we blow out the Mavs game 1, but I do think come end of November, December, January, I think the front office is going to have some conversations about a potential move point. Because I mean, we have 18 guys on our roster. That's the most you can have. Not everyone's gonna be able to see the court. We're gonna send guys to Austin, but I think we look to move some of these pieces depending on how they're playing, and try to get something back. But I think we're in a really good spot. I can't wait. I'm excited for this team. Once we get Fox back and we get Sohan back, I'm excited to see where this team is. But I also don't want to screw up the chemistry too much because it looks like Wimby is having a lot of fun out there, and I am too.
Absolutely. There's certainly a lot of fun to be had, but I also want to dive into some details about this ESPN ranking that just came out yesterday, and where it has, the San Antonio
Yeah, where does it
Spurs.
have us?
It has us 16th, and it has us winning 41.8 games. That's where it has us.
Who's in front of us and who's behind us? Do you know?
So let's just go through that list right now. I know the Rockets were at 5, the Mavs are at 13. It also
Man,
has
they're
it
really
has
thinking the Mavs are going to be a late season push, huh?
I think that's kind of what they're thinking, but I also disagree with them putting the Bucks and the Celtics right ahead of us. I think that we are better than both of those teams.
They put
Uh,
the Celtics. No offense to Round Ball, but like you guys ain't got shit right now, and we all know that. Like I think
right.
Pritchard might be your second best player at this point in time. No, it's Derek White still, but Pritchard's number 3. And I have to like Google some of the names on the Celtics right now. No offense, sorry, Round Ball. It's how I feel.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that they're playing mostly Eastern Conference teams. So, the chances of them finishing the year a higher rank because of more wins or something like that could be a reason. But at the end of the day, I agree. If we're looking at talent on paper and we're looking at what this team could do, our team is much better. Um, Yes,
I did.
Josh is a hooper, so I don't wanna discredit him at all. Um,
But to your point, Rob, what you said just a second ago about playing a bunch of East teams, that's where the Spurs need to be. The Spurs need to probably go around, let's call it 500 or so with the West, but we need to dominate the East. We need to beat, I wouldn't say we need to go undefeated against the East, but we need to play very high level basketball against the East. I'm talking, we don't lose more than like 6 games against the East. We need to beat the East. If we beat the East, we'll be in the mix for the West because we'll get some of these teams as well. But if we can go out there this season and really put our foot down on the East, then we have a really good chance to be not in the playoff game, but in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think we just brought up 2 of those teams, both the Bucks and the Celtics, who are kind of going in through these weird transitions, as an organizations. So I feel like we can beat kind of those teams, but then I'm looking at the rest of these rankings, and we move up a couple of more, and Atlanta at 11, and then we also see, we also see Detroit at 12, and these are really tough basketball teams. So I think that we are playing well enough and we are talented enough to where we can overachieve from this 41.8 games, but I don't know by how much. So maybe not a 50-win season, but damn, I think we could sneak around and win 45 games.
Yeah, I think I'll still hit the over. We won 12 games from the season before last season, and we won 30. We won 30. Was 36?
Um,
I think that's how many games we won last year.
I thought it was
There's like
34.
34, 36, somewhere around there.
I think it was 34.
Yeah. So I feel we won 34 games without having our best player for the final third. And then you also couple that in with the acquisition of De'Aaron Fox. Maybe I'm crazy, but if those 2 players would have played for the final third of the season, like the late March, April timeline, I think we might have gotten to like 38, 39 wins, maybe 40, who knows? But, obviously, ifs and ands at this point, but that's how I feel. If my aunt had testicles, she'd be my uncle. So that's kind of how I feel about ifs right now.
Right. There's a lot of ifs and stuff like that, but we're going to have the ability to answer a lot of those questions very, very soon with regular season basketball starting in a couple of days. So I think there's a strong chance we could start off on the right foot, and I'm hoping we do just that. But we were talking pre-podcast, and we were talking about James having a trivia question, and he even brought it up in the comment section. So beautifully timed. So, James, whenever you're ready, go ahead and comment the question that you want to ask, because anytime James has an idea for a segment or an idea for anything, we usually get excited about it, and usually ends up being something pretty dope. But
absolutely, but we'll wait on that. Rob, I have blind rankings for you. I've seen this trend on TikTok. I listened to a few podcasts and they do this as well. And now I'm like, screw it, we're gonna do it on the podcast. So we can do this every episode. I can think of one probably every episode, but for now, we'll start very, very simple, very simple. And damn it, Rambo actually, no, I was kidding. Ime Udoka, close, but not really. All right, Rob, we're gonna blind rank 1 through 5 Spurs point guard edition.
okay.
So PGs.
Beautiful.
All right, 1 through 5. You ready? Patty Mills.
4.
Okay, I'm gonna write these down because we'll talk to you afterwards. Okay, you got Patty Mills at 4. Perfect. Speedy Claxton.
3.
Rod Strickland.
2.
Uh-oh. Tony Parker.
1.
Who's your 5th? Ready? Your 5th's Avery Johnson.
Fuck. God dang it. I can't shit on the little general. I went to his camp as a kid. I have more signed Avery Johnson memorabilia than I do anybody else.
My favorite time of the year is during March Madness when Avery Johnson's a commentator. I'm like, hell yeah, Avery, because you can tell he just gets really passionate about like what he's watching. He's like, look at this boy, oh my god, wow, what a move. He's just like, he's great. I love listening to Avery Johnson.
Dude, he's so animated. He always explains the games in such a fun way, and that's the environment he brought to his camp.
Yeah.
He was always over the top and made you feel so special.
Dude, every time.
And he would literally come up to me and be like, I remember you from last year and you've made so much improvement. And that really jazzed me up like very few things could.
But now if you ever see him again, he's going to be like, I remember when you were this little. Well, I have one more for you, Rob.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen.
All right. This is not really anything to do with basketball, but it is basketball related. Blind rank timeout entertainments.
Okay.
Timeout entertainment. So like when they call timeout, they have something going on during that timeout. We're going to blind rank Spurs timeout entertainment. You ready?
All right, I got you.
First one. Mariachis.
Ooh, I gotta put Mariachis at like 2.
2?
Like Mariachis like that's always good time for me.
Baby races.
Baby races, I'm gonna put like 4. They can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're good fun, but sometimes the babies are
It is
mid.
funny when they like just go off, or they start going and they stop and they look behind them and they're like, this is what were we doing here?
Yeah.
Right.
Those are always good fun.
My next one, shirt cannon.
Damn, I love me a good shirt cannon. I'm gonna put it at 3. I haven't said 3, have I?
No, you're good. So shirt cannon 3, baby races at 4, just to give you a heads up.
Cool.
Kiss cam.
Oh, Kiss Cam at 5.
Kiss Cam at 5.
Sometimes Kiss Cam can. I don't know. I'm putting all of my eggs in the final basket.
Buddy, I'm glad you did, because I have a caveat with this one. I'm going to say anything Whataburger sponsors, because they had the Whataburger What a Shot, where they like lined up the trash cans, and you're supposed to throw the ball into the trash can, and whenever you hit the next one, you win something bigger. So I have anything Whataburger does, but I don't know if you've seen this yet. The Spurs have a new timeout entertainment from Whataburger. It's called Build a Burger. It's couple versus couple. So it's a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend versus a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. And it starts with the male on the bottom as the bottom bun. And the wife has to run back and forth from free throw line to free throw line and throw the patty, the cheese, the lettuce, the tomatoes. And then they have to put on the other bun and then jump on top of their husband with and that ends the time, and whoever finishes first gets, I guess, in a Whataburger for a year, or Whataburger on Valentine's Day or something like that. So I watched it the other day and I couldn't stop laughing because it was so much fun to watch. Like, it is high energy, it is entertaining, and it might be my new favorite game.
Dude, I love that you brought that up, because I think that is such a great addition, because Whataburger is such a fantastic sponsor, and I think that's a good like interactive game like for couples, and it led to a really fun moment in the Frostbank Arena. So I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I like that. That is the one. So anything Whataburger does, boom, is number one. I'm good with that blind ranking for sure.
Now, one thing I didn't put on here and I just thought of was the Valero dot races. So I should have put that instead of baby races. That's on me. And that might have changed how this came out for sure.
It could have.
Those dot races go hard, dog. You got people fighting like, blue, no, fuck you, it's red. No, bullshit, it's green. You're like, oh my God, they're gonna fight over dots.
Oh yeah, there's sometimes like the Spurs will lose, but I'm like, at least green came through. Oh yeah.
Well, what's interesting is I was watching the game, and I have League Pass, so I get to watch the in arena stuff. So I get to watch all these entertainment timeout stuff. And during the dot races, they're going around San Antonio, and they have a stadium that's like in the area of downtown. And I'm like, it could look like this, guys. So you should probably go out and vote so you can match what Valero's doing on the screen, because obviously they have to make it all like, smaller in order to get those dots to go around. But like, you go watch it, and literally the stadium's next to the tower, and the tower's next to the Alamo, and all this other stuff. And I'm going, we could have that. Just got to go out and vote. Yeah.
Yep.
We could have that.
Yep. Vote for Project Marvel if you want a more progressive San Antonio where there's a thriving nightlife. And this isn't just the environment you want to see happen in the next 5-6 years. No, it's the environment you want to see for the next 50-60 years. It's the San Antonio that's going to grow and thrive for not only your kids but your kids. And so that's what's at stake here.
It's going to set the infrastructure up, and that's the biggest thing. Sometimes you just got to pull the Band-Aid. Sometimes you just got to pull the Band-Aid. And we're going to start looking at, bigger and better things for the city. And at the end of the day, I think this really puts San Antonio, a notch above, especially because now we're newer too. And the Dallas is updating their convention center. Houston's updating their convention center. So once those, or Austin is, as I think Austin and Dallas are, not Houston, but once those things get opened up again, I mean, San Antonio might see a downtick in convention. So we got to do something. Like, there's a lot of factors to this, and it's all pointing towards yes. So please go out and vote.
Absolutely.
Vote or die, motherfucker.
Yeah, vote or die. But I think it's a perfect time to segue into the James question from earlier. The Spurs last won a playoff series in 2017, second round against Houston. Who was the starting five in the clinching game 6? So let's put our thinking hats on and dive on into this round ball already with a comment. Patty Mills, Danny Green, Kawhi, Slow Mo, LA, lock me in. Well, I think I agree with at least most of these. I mean, I think that it's definitely LaMarcus. Like I definitely think LaMarcus
I think in 2017 we still had Tony. So I would go Tony, Danny, Kawhi, LaMarcus, Timmy.
Did we still have Tony at this time?
I think we did.
By the time playoffs came around, I don't. Maybe
it would be really cool if James was on the podcast to help kind of talk us through this.
Right.
But we're going off a delay too, so now we have to like stall until we can get in the comments.
Well, no, I mean, I also think I'm gonna pull it up just so I know, but
Yeah.
I think I am okay. So it was Patty Mills. Patty Mills did start for this team. Patty Mills, Danny Green, LaMarcus, like we said, Paul Gasol.
Oh, that was the Paul Gasol year.
Yeah, Paul Gasol started. And who do you love bringing up on this podcast more than anybody?
Jonathan Simmons. Yeah.
Jonathan Simmons. It was that boy, Jonathan Simmons, started.
I hope he's like taken that $14 million that Orlando gave him and made it into 30. Like, I just hope that guy just pulled a chameleonaire and just invest a whole bunch of shit. So, yeah, man.
He was our second leading scorer that game. He had 18 points and 4 assists in 31 minutes. That's Jonathan Simmons for you. Even in playoff basketball, where we're closing out the Rockets in Game 6, he's our second leading scorer. Yeah, Jonathan Simmons bringing production.
He was explosive, man. He was so much fun, man. I need to get a Jonathan Simmons jersey. I don't care.
Right, and fucking Spurs legend Pau Gasol, absolutely. Like,
God, if we would have had him like 2-3 years earlier. Holy shit.
Mean, it would have been the equivalent to when we had, Timmy next to David, but like Timmy Powell would have been like a different experience, but within the same realm.
It would have been like Boris Diaw, but with like better defense.
That makes sense. And with the starting five, he was saying Kawhi and Tony had already gotten hurt. Yeah, yep. That makes all the sense in the world. So
that explains Tony's infamous leg thing, and he's like, mine was way worse.
Right. Yeah. Kawhi's being a little bitch. It's like Tony, you can't just be French all over him like that.
Epa.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think we should do that. I'm going to bring in blind rankings, and I'm going to keep it Spurs for now, but I might switch it up. Might do something different. Might do a burger one. Ooh.
Let's do it. I like that. We could do a little crossover, some burger boys, baseline bums, a lot of bees within that.
I might do a wrestling one with you, and just to see like what your 5 are compared to like us Marky Marks over here, who just absolutely adore it. So,
well, that would be a truly blind ranking, and blind things I don't know about. There we go. Absolutely. But yeah, I think we have a couple dunks to get to, don't you think?
Shock alaka.
Yeah, I think we got not only some rim grazers, but hopefully some two-handed tomahawks coming in here. So what you thinking about dunking on, AJ?
I would like to dunk on people with internet brainworms. Like, sometimes you need to turn off your phone and just walk away. And I see it more and more, especially now that sports is so prevalent in our day-to-day lives. Right now, Texas Tech just came out today and announced we're no longer throwing tortillas, and like, don't bring them, don't try. Like, we're done. Like, that tradition's done, which in one aspect really pisses me off, because that was a great tradition and there was some kind of community about it. If you want to hear me talk about it, listen to the last podcast I was on. But I also don't give a shit. At the end of the day, I'm like, I don't care, but I want to know more about why we gave up a game-winning drive than I do about fucking tortillas. Like that's kind of how I feel about this whole situation. And the people who are just like very like, I'm never donating to Texas Tech again because they took away the tradition. Like those people suck and they need to get off the internet. Like that's what it comes. Like and also half the people that are pissed off right now haven't been to a game in 10, 15 years. So they don't know. Like go to a game. But and I think people with internet brainworms just I'm a victim of it myself. Sometimes I'm on the internet a lot. I'm like, you know what? It's affecting my mood. I'm gonna go away. I'm not gonna get on for a while. And I'll turn on my Clash of Clans and play that. So, that's how I feel. So internet brainworm people, get off the internet. But listen to our podcast on the internet.
Right. Seriously. Yeah, get off the internet. But if you are going to be on the internet, yeah, Baseline Bums podcast is a great place to be. But yeah, I think that's a worthwhile dunk. Internet brainworms, you got yammed on tomahawk.
How about
style.
you, buddy? Who you done? I'm glad that you're back in the studio. I'm glad that you're back in there and we get to see that awesome green light because I know how much you love Christmas. So
well, I'm going back to the Christmas movie again tomorrow. So I'll be back on set for that again tomorrow. But I do have a Christmas movie related dunk because that's what I've been eating, breathing, and sleeping the last month, what it seems like. Yeah, I just think that there's a proper way to feed people on set. Like there has to be enough food catered, ready to eat when we're expected to eat. And there's too many times we are waiting on food or the food's there a little bit later than we're expecting and
that's not good.
It's just not consistent enough to where I start to say stuff about it, like I just can't keep my mouth shut and I get hungry and I get hangry. And so there's definitely some stuff about this production that I'm not super happy about. And so it's just dampening my Christmas spirit a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, and I want to be, in an environment where I can do some good work. But if the above the line people aren't doing their end of the bargain, then I'm like, dude, why am I here?
It fucks everything up. Like you have a set schedule. Like granted, these are like, 16-hour days, but they're like specifically cut up for certain shots at certain times. And if your lunchtime is 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever, and they don't get there until minute 25, like you're not going to eat. Like you got to go. And like, dude, I can only imagine how frustrating that is, not just for you, but for everyone else. I'm surprised you're the only, like, are you the only one speaking up?
Well, no, there's other people that are speaking up, but the vast majority of people are just kind of silently protesting. And I'm like, well, guys, that's not going to really get a whole lot done. And yeah, just the other day, like breakfast was supposed to be at 6:30 a.m. and I show up at 6:45 and I'm like one of like 3 people there. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like I should show up and coffee should be ready already.
Right.
And I should walk in, just pour me a cup and then get to work. That's how it should be. And then
it should be that way. That's called structure and organization. You need a set manager to get that done. And I've seen enough Entourage to know how movie set works. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's been frustrating, but you know what? I'm happy to be working on a movie.
Has anyone made Christmas cookies yet on set?
There's a lot of Christmas cookies on set, but they were just like there for decoration.
Okay. So you can't just like, because that's my favorite part of Christmas, just eating all those cookies. Now, Rob, obviously I know we're about to head out now here in a second, but since we are in the month of October and I know you like scary movies, I've been watching a lot of slasher movies lately. I'm talking like your Friday the 13th, your Halloweens, your Elm Streets, all that stuff. Watched Terrifier 3 the other day. That was ridiculous. But let me ask you, like, give me a couple of movies that we should watch in order to get into like this Halloween spirit.
I mean, there's so many different vibes of Halloween, and that's what's so amazing about it as a holiday is because you could go like the funny comedy silly route, or you could go like the really truly scary, terrifying route. Um, but really, I think if you're just wanting to go pure scary, there is a few really good options. I would say one of the first movies that I go to whenever I want to truly get scared is anything Freddy Krueger. Like if
Dude.
I'm if I'm
Whew.
if I'm thinking Halloween and I'm thinking of scary, I'm thinking of Freddy Krueger and anywhere near Elm Street.
Do
So
you have a
that's
favorite Elm Street? Freddy versus
there's
Jason?
I don't know. There was just so many that kind of warped my mind as a child that I just hear the one, two,
Yeah.
he's coming for you. You're just like,
So
no.
for me, I think my favorite Elm Street is 3 Dream Warriors, because that one just it's really interesting the way that they, or was it 3 or 4? One of the, whatever Dream Warriors is, that one I think is my favorite, because it's like a mental institution, and the doctor, like it's a good story. Like the doctor is prescribing like people to like pass out, or no, to go to sleep but block their dreams. And just the way that whole thing is shot, there's something about slasher movies that the way that it's shot, and it's kind of like jumpy, but they have long shots. I think there's something really cool about the way that they're filmed. So I would say for me, like Dream Warriors is probably my go-to right now.
Absolutely. I think that's a great choice. And Roundball also Scream 1 is such a perfect slasher. I agree as well. It's
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 so good.
it's
It's
one
so
of those
good.
slashers that's a really good movie, a fantastic cast, but it also like it doesn't take itself too seriously. It kind of is a little bit funny at times, and so I appreciate it about
Do you,
that. It's not over the top
I
serious and dramatic.
I kind of remember this whenever Scream came out, and a lot of people were upset that Drew Barrymore died so early in the movie, and they thought that she was going to be there the whole time. I thought that was fantastic, and the fact that you're watching this scene play out, going, "What's going to happen?" and then turns out they're in a movie, and you're like, "Oh shit, that's cool." So I mean,
Oh
like just
yeah.
a really cool, like kind of fuck with your mind. That's a good way to start out. I feel like you always need to start out a slasher movie with like a really good like kill. Unalive, I guess is what they're saying nowadays. 6 alive.
Right.
But I think you kind of set the tone, and it has to be like a slow build into like what's going to happen, but like the way that it happens isn't what you're really thinking. Every great one starts that way, and like Terrifier 3, like kills a fucking family to start the movie, which is wild in itself. But you watch those things and you're like, all right, strap in, here we go. But the Saw movies are great too.
Oh yeah. But I mean, also for Halloween, you could go like Hocus Pocus and kind of go that route with it and go like more fun and whimsical and kind of, witchy
Wicked.
stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there's a lot of different directions, and I don't think that there's a way that misses. But yeah, I'm with you. I like a lot of weird deaths and playing with blood and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I love to
Yeah,
make horror movies, and shout out if you're looking for one to watch, Texas Cult House on Amazon. Me and my buddy Alex Walker shot that, and that's a very very fun movie. Did a lot of
I,
camera work on that.
I'm just gonna say, if you ever need extras, I know the bums will jump in. I think that would be a fun little tidbit, even if it's just like me, Adam, and James like in a corner trying to read a map together. Like,
And y'all just get offed by like a ghost or something. Yeah, dude, I could see it, dude.
like it,
Honestly, I'm gonna have to make that happen. I'm gonna have to make that happen.
because like I mean, in the Christmas movie, we can open a map together and be like, we got to go that way, or go that way, or no, actually, what do? They go watermelon, 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 watermelon.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, man, but season starts tomorrow. Spurs play on Wednesday. Hopefully, it's a full house. Hopefully, that bottom bowl is filled up, and I hope that the Jackals come in ready to roll because those boys and girls are. I
Well,
can I can
it's on
see
the
it.
road. It's
I
on the
can see it.
road.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's on the road. Hopefully, I get to go to the game. My boss hasn't told me yet, but if we end up going, he's gonna be like, holy shit, who did I hire?
Right. You're gonna be like 5, 6 Modelo's in, and you're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, dude, what the? I
It's like
didn't
this
know
is why
you.
Jonathan Simmons is the greatest Spur of all time.
You're right. Dude, Boris Diaw, you don't know who he was.
It's like when I was a kid, I had a Steven Jackson jersey because he wore a headband.
But valid though.
Yeah,
I
he was
mean,
that. I was like, I know who that is because he's the only one with the headband.
yeah. I mean, you got to separate yourself stylistically, and Stack Jack was him.
Yep. Now, dude, this new Spurs. I was actually before we go. Let me ask you, how do you feel about this new Spurs? I guess era that we're in with Wimby and these younger guys being like very open with their lives and in front of cameras and doing commercials and all this other stuff. I mean, it's different for me. How do you feel about it?
I think it's to be expected. I think this younger generation is used to social media and talking in front of a camera a lot more and opening up your life. And when we look at the foundation of who the Spurs were in the past, it was Popovich and Duncan and David Robinson, guys that are a little bit more conservative, close to the chest, and they're not really just going to be an open book about their feelings and emotions. And so the vibe kind of was created off that. But we have a group of guys who they're a little bit more emotionally in touch with themselves. And
Yeah,
Wemby is a very smart, charismatic guy who is out there playing chess with people, is out there going to NASA and with the
Victor
monks. And
Wembanyama.
exactly. And so he wants to kind of dip his toes in a lot of different stuff that
Big
the
ass toes.
Spurs players from previous years wouldn't have even touched. So that's going to put you in a lot of different circles, and you're going to want to talk about that. And so I
Just
think
get
it's interesting.
just give us better merch, guys. Just give us better merch. Like, I get it. The Celtics, the Lakers, the Warriors, they all have like everything you could possibly dream of merch wise, all kinds of throwbacks. And then you go to the Spurs page and there's like 2 pages to their 40. So, like, just give us better merch, guys. Just give us better merch. We're on the right path. Just give us better merch.
Yeah, we are on the right path. Uh, but yeah, that sounds like a good episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. If you're still here with us and you listened to all of our Spurs preseason yappage, and you listened to some Western Conference topics that we talked about, and you listened to these fantastic dunks, we certainly appreciate you. We not only love you, but we love you hard over here. Super, super hard. This podcast would not be the same without you. Your engagement, your likes, your comments, your shares, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, if you're commenting and you're retweeting us, and over on X, and you're doing all of that stuff, we appreciate you. However you're consuming the Baseline Bums podcast, we really, really appreciate you being here. So all of that being said, we're going to end this episode the same way we end all episodes, and that's with a
Go
go, a
Spurs.
Spurs, a
Go.
go.